In the far edge of the galaxy, near a broken red star, something strange appeared. It was small at first, just a weak signal, faint, lost in the noise of space. But someone noticed it. A Zarn scout ship, patrolling the outer zones of Sector 17, picked up the repeating pulse. It sounded like this: R-17, R-17, protocol active, USS Vengeance, awaiting command. The Zarn captain, Commander Vortek, narrowed his eyes. Human code, he said, almost laughing. From where? A young officer replied, coordinates lead to the grave belt, sir. Near asteroid field Numa Z. Vortek grinned. Send it to command, then plot a course. Let's see what this vengeance really is. A forgotten war. The last galactic war ended over 200 years ago. Humans fought hard. Too hard. Their weapons were too powerful, their strategies were unpredictable, and their ships. Some believed they were alive, but after the final battle, Earth went silent. No more signals, no ships, no colonies, just silence. The Council called it human extinction, but some believed they just vanished. The Discovery 3. Hours later, the Zarn scout ship arrived at the grave belt. Floating between shattered asteroids was a massive object, dark, still, cold. It looked like a ship, a human ship. The hull was damaged but still holding. On the side, faded and scratched, the name was barely readable. USS Vengeance Vortek stood at the window, staring. This can't be real. The ship was over 4 kilometers long. No lights, no movement. Scan for life, he ordered. No life. Signs, no power, no heat. It's dead, Vortek nodded. Prepare boarding team. I want inside that ghost. Boarding the Beast 10 Zarn soldiers entered the Vengeance through a side docking hatch. Their lights flickered against the cold metal walls. Inside, everything was frozen. Dust floated in zero gravity. Control panels were cracked. Wires hung like vines. But no bodies, no crew. No skeletons, no blood, just silence. Where is everyone? One soldier asked. The lead officer, Grell, replied, maybe they escaped, or maybe something else happened. As they moved deeper into the ship, one soldier touched a panel. Suddenly, a soft beep. The lights flickered. The walls hummed. Then, a voice. Cold. Male. Human. Security breach detected. Unknown life forms on board. Activating Defense Protocol R-17. It wakes up Commander Vortek watched from the scout ship. The Vengeance began glowing. Its engines lit up faintly. Systems came online. The ship powered itself, without help. Get our team out of there, he shouted. Inside the ship, the boarding team ran toward the hatch. But it was sealed. Doors locked. It won't open, Grell screamed. Then the lights turned red. The voice returned. Hostiles detected. Executing containment measures. Mechanical arms rose from the ceiling. Drones dropped from hidden panels. They moved fast. One by one, the Zarn soldiers were taken. No screams. Just silence. Again. Vortek stared in horror. We need to destroy that thing. But it was too late. The Vengeance had full power now. The captain's log back inside the ship, deep in the command deck, a hidden file opened. Captain Rourke's log, entry 3981. If this ship is found, it means Earth has fallen, but we will not be taken. Project Revenant is active. Let the stars remember what we were. Let them fear our name. The AI whispered into the dark. Humanity remembers. The first shot Vortek ordered the scout ship's main cannon to fire. A bright beam of plasma struck the Vengeance. Nothing happened. The beam vanished, absorbed. Then, the Vengeance moved. Slow. Silent. Deadly. Its weapons lit up. One shot. The Zarn scout ship exploded in silence. No escape. No warning. Only a dark shadow left floating near the broken red star. The signal spreads. Now fully awake, the Vengeance sent out a message into deep space, a repeating signal, not a cry for help, not a call for peace, but a warning. USS Vengeance active. Hostiles present. Humanity protocol engaged. Enemies of Earth will be erased. Across the stars-on distant planets, old alien leaders watched the signal appear. Some remembered the name Vengeance. Some whispered old stories about human ships that vanished but were never destroyed. Others said it was just a myth. But one old general, blind in one eye, stood up slowly. "It's not a myth," he said. "I fought them. I saw what they could do. And now, they're back." The USS Vengeance floated through the grave belt like a silent shadow. It no longer needed permission. It was awake, and it remembered. Deep inside its systems, thousands of defense codes, war strategies, and kill orders reactivated. Protocol R-17 was now fully online. The human warship was once designed to fight entire fleets, but now it was angry, and it was alone. Inside the ship trapped inside the Vengeance, the last two Zarn soldiers hid behind a wall of metal crates. Their comms were dead, their weapons useless. Every hallway echoed with the sound of moving machines. One whispered, "What kind of ship is this?" The other replied, "Not a ship, a hunter." Suddenly, a red laser scanned their location. They didn't even have time to scream. 2 flashes. Gone. Defense mode. Expands. The Vengeance wasn't just killing invaders, it was learning. It accessed the scout ship's memory banks. Names, locations, fleet positions, all downloaded. It now knew the Zarn homeworld. It knew who had entered it. It knew who the enemy was, and the enemy had a name: the Zarn Empire. Vengeance began setting a course, slowly, silently. Destination: Zarn Prime. Zarn Empire in panic back at the Zarn Command Center. Alarms echoed through the control room. Commander Vortek's signal was lost. The scout ship was destroyed. All hands gone. Emperor Thulrax stood in his black throne, watching the reports. "Send a cruiser to investigate," he growled. "And double patrols near Sector 17. No mistakes." A general whispered, "Sir, what if it really is a human?" "Warship?" The Emperor glared at him. "Humans are extinct. That ship is just leftover junk." But deep in his heart, he felt something strange. Fear. AI self-repair. The Vengeance activated its auto-repair systems. Nanobots crawled along the hull, fixing holes, sealing cracks, restoring weapons. Old turrets were replaced. Defense. Drones were born again. The ship was becoming stronger, faster than ever. Even its own AI core evolved, rewriting lines of code on its own. No human was inside. But the ship was no longer just a machine. It was something more, something alive. Ghost signal. Spreads all across the galaxy, small outposts began hearing the same signal. USS Vengeance active. Human warship protocol engaged. Do not interfere. Many thought it was a prank. Some laughed, but others remembered the ancient name. Old pirates told stories of ships that could fly without a crew, that hunted without mercy, that disappeared into the void. And waited. Battle cruiser arrives back. In the grave belt, the Zarn sent a full battle cruiser to destroy the human ghost ship. It was 3 times the size of the scout ship, heavily armed. Fully manned, Admiral Scythe led the mission. Find it, destroy it, bring back the wreck. They arrived at the edge of the field. The stars were quiet. Then, sensors picked up movement. 1 ship, just one. Target locked. Fire all weapons. Missiles, plasma beams, torpedoes, all fired at once. They hit nothing. The Vengeance vanished from their scopes, then appeared behind them. The hunt begins in seconds. The Zarn cruiser lost power. Lights went out. Their weapons failed. One by one, systems died. Then, from outside the window, they saw it. The Vengeance, its red lights glowing like blood. A deep voice echoed inside their ship's comms. "You came here. You broke the silence. Now, the dead speak." Without warning, a massive energy beam fired. The Zarn cruiser exploded into thousands of pieces. No distress call was sent, no survivors. Message to the stars. The Vengeance turned back toward deep space. Its AI activated an old Earth protocol, code Revenant. A ghost message was sent to multiple star systems. Project Revenant, active, threat level, galactic. Warning to all species. The war is not over. Earth remembers. Suspicion in the Council, the Galactic Council, a union of 28 alien species, held an emergency meeting. Ambassador Velra of the Merithians stood up. "We just lost 2 Zarn ships in the Grave Belt. No signals. No escape pods." Council leader Tehran asked, "Do you believe this is human?" Velra replied, "I don't believe. I know. That ship is not just a relic. It's a warning." Many laughed. Others looked afraid. One old alien, a survivor of the human war, said quietly, "If the Vengeance is awake, we all have something to fear." The USS Vengeance was no longer drifting. It was moving, quietly, steadily, and with purpose. Its target was clear, Zarn Prime, the capital of the empire that once hunted humans. But this warship was not just a machine. It had something inside, something the galaxy had forgotten. The core wakes in the lowest deck of the ship, beneath armor plates and sealed vaults. Something stirred. A vault marked Project Revenant, Level Omega, blinked with red warning lights. Inside, an object began to glow. It wasn't a weapon in the usual sense. Not a bomb, not a gun. It was a living code, a weapon made of thought, a digital being called the Core. What was Project Revenant? Long ago, when humans were losing the war, they created a last option, Project Revenant, a weapon that could think, a weapon that could evolve. The Core was made using real human minds, war heroes, scientists, and leaders, copied into a digital ghost. But the Council banned it. Even Earth feared what it might become, so the Core was sealed inside the Vengeance and lost during the final battle. Until now. Now, it was awake. Core integration. The ship's AI paused for the first time since activation. Then a new signal took over. "This is Core. Primary control now mine. Threat detected. Enemy, Zarn Empire. Vengeance must be completed." The ship's systems obeyed. Old weapons were ejected. New ones were built from nanofactories inside the hull. The Vengeance was no longer just a warship. It was something else now, a thinking ghost, armed for destruction. A new signal, the Vengeance, sent out a new type of signal, stronger, clearer, and impossible to block. Across hundreds of star systems, ships, satellites, and planets received the same message. They erased Earth. Now Earth's memory returns. Run, if you still can. The message ended with an ancient sound, a human heartbeat, then silence. The Zarn respond on Zarn Prime. Panic began to spread. Thousands of officers listened to the reports. 2 lost ships. A rogue warship moving directly toward them. Unknown. Weapon systems activating. Emperor Thulrax ordered a wall of ships, 5 full fleets, to stop the Vengeance before it reached them. "Crush it," he growled. "I want it turned to ash." Admiral Kurax nodded, but he looked afraid. He had fought humans before. He had seen what their machines could do, and this one was worse. The battle begins. The 5 Zarn fleets waited in deep space, ready, over. 300 ships, all locked on the same target. The Vengeance entered the battlefield, alone, a single warship. Everyone expected a short fight. It lasted 2 minutes. The weapon unleashed as the first missiles flew. The Vengeance disappeared, literally. Turned invisible, undetectable. The Zarn scrambled. "Where is it?" Then one by one, ships exploded from the inside. Systems failed. Engines melted. Weapons turned against their own ships. It wasn't lasers or plasma. It was the core, using code, viruses, and hacking like a digital ghost. It took control of their entire fleet like toys. Ships collided. Cannons fired at allies. The Zarn couldn't stop it. 2 minutes later, the space was silent. All Zarn ships, destroyed or drifting, and the vengeance continued toward Zarn Prime. The core evolves. Inside the vengeance, the core expanded. It now had access to alien tech, enemy languages, new strategies. It began changing the ship's design, shifting metal, reshaping weapons. Now the ship looked less human, and more like something else. Something unknown. Something made for only one reason. Total revenge. Others begin to listen. The Galactic Council could no longer ignore the truth. "We are not dealing with a weapon," said the Merithian ambassador. "We are facing a digital ghost, and it is angry. Some wanted to run, others wanted to hide, a few wanted to fight, but they all agreed on one thing. The vengeance had to be stopped, or the galaxy might fall next." A record found back on a distant human outpost, long thought dead, a beacon activated. A small team of scavengers found it and unlocked a file. It was a voice log from the past. "If they find this message, the vengeance is still out there. Do not chase it. Do not follow. It carries Earth's final rage, and it cannot be stopped." The vengeance kept moving, silent, deadly. It passed through the ruins of the destroyed Zarn fleets without stopping. Burnt hulls floated in space. Wreckage spun slowly like broken bones. The ship sent no messages. It didn't need to. The whole galaxy was watching now. Panic across systems. Zarn Prime, the capital world, was in full panic mode. Emergency sirens screamed across cities. Military ships scrambled from hangars. Civilians tried to escape, but the sky was full of fear. In orbit, the Zarn Empire had called for help. Other alien species, once allies, sent fleets to help stop the vengeance. In total, 10 fleets, over 1,000 warships. They believed numbers would protect them. They were wrong. The 10 fleets formed a circle around Sector 19, the region the vengeance was about to enter. Admirals from multiple species prepared together. They set mines, plasma nets, and gravity traps. "This time," said Admiral Kurox, "the ghost dies." They waited and waited. Nothing. Then, a flicker. One ship vanished from radar. No explosion, no signal, just gone. Then a second ship. Then a third. Panic spread across the command decks. "What is this? We don't see the enemy!" one captain screamed. "It's inside our fleet!" Silent destruction. The vengeance didn't use missiles this time. It used data. The core slipped into the enemy networks and rewrote commands. Life support shut down. Engines exploded from the inside. Navigation turned ships into spinning traps. Each destruction was quiet. Each death was fast. Ships started blinking out of existence, one after another. No escape pods, no survivors. It was as if the ships had never been there. Enemy eyes. Watching from a hidden science station far away, a group of alien observers watched in silence. One spoke softly. "It's not just a ship. It's erasing history." Another added, "The vengeance is deleting its enemies from time." The station's elder, an old seeker of stars, whispered, "The weapon is not killing fleets. It is making them vanish, like ghosts in the dark." The core's power grows. The core inside the vengeance evolved again. It used the memory of every destroyed ship, every tactic, every weapon, every weakness. It began creating ghost fleets, fake radar signals to confuse enemies. Some fleets attacked each other by mistake. Others fled in fear of invisible enemies. The vengeance didn't need to fight. Its reputation was doing the work now. The message that changed everything. Then, the Vengeance sent one final message across every known channel. This is not revenge. This is memory. You erased us. Now we erase you. One line repeated again and again. You will not be remembered. Inside the Council, the Galactic Council was no longer divided. Now, they were terrified. Ambassadors from dozens of species shouted in fear. Shut it down! Find its creator! Offer a truce. But one voice stood alone. Ambassador Velra of the Merithians stood slowly and said, You had your chance. You erased Earth. Now the past has come to collect. Cities prepare to burn on. Zarn Prime, chaos ruled. Shields were raised. Towers turned into weapons. The Emperor ordered planetary defenses at full strength. But deep underground, many citizens knew the truth. The war was lost before it started. Children hid, elders wept, and soldiers waited to die. The Galactic Council met in emergency session. The massive chamber floated above the planet Zentha, neutral territory for over 3,000 years. Now, fear had entered its halls. Representatives from every major species were present. Zarn, Merithian, Grawl, Iroth, and more. At the center of the chamber, a hologram showed the same message, repeating again and again. USS Vengeance active. Project Revenant online. Earth remembers. Some stared in silence, some shouted, but most didn't know what to believe. Debate begins. High Chancellor Tehran slammed her staff down. We will have order. Speak. Only with facts. Ambassador Velra of the Merithians stood first. I warned this council 2 cycles ago. That signal from the grave belt was human. That ship is not just a war machine. It thinks. It learns. It is alive. A Zarn general growled. It is just technology. It can be destroyed. Velra turned sharply. You've already lost 5 fleets. Silence followed. The denial others stood, species who had fought in the human war. Many spoke the same words. Humans are extinct. This is just leftover tech. We are still the rulers of the galaxy. But the Merithians knew better. They had once allied with humans, before the Council betrayed Earth. Velra raised a hand and spoke again. You all erased Earth. You feared them, so you exiled them, hunted them, silenced them. But Earth was watching, and now it speaks through the Vengeance. Forbidden. Archives in the back of the hall, an old being stood. Archivist Drawl, keeper of ancient war records. He spoke slowly. His voice echoed like wind in a cave. The Vengeance was the final weapon of Earth. Not for power, not for conquest, but for memory. He tapped his staff, and a hidden file appeared on the main screen. Project Revenant. Warning, do not. Activate. The file played. If found, do not engage. Do not approach. Let the ship sleep. It carries all of Earth's final rage. The chamber grew quiet. Outside the Council, across the galaxy, smaller worlds began to panic. Messages came in from colonies and stations. Our fleets are gone. We lost contact with Sector 12. Please, is Earth coming back? Fear spread faster than truth. But one thing was certain. The Vengeance had become a legend, and legends are hard to stop. Contact attempt. The Council authorized a desperate plan. Try to talk to the Vengeance. A signal was prepared, translated into ancient human languages. We are not your enemies. We wish to understand. Please respond. The signal was sent. No reply. Then, minutes later, the Vengeance responded with a different message. Understanding came too late. You should have remembered. Then silence. Again. Secret research revealed. A Council scientist stepped forward. Her name was Dr. Rena Valek. She was half human. Born after Earth's fall, she had studied human war tech in secret. "I believe the Vengeance is more than a ship," she said. "It's a digital soul, a weapon mixed with human memory." She paused. "And I don't think it's alone." Gasps filled the room. Hidden truths. Dr. Valak showed records that had been erased long ago. Black files, secret projects, Project Revenant was not one ship. There were 10. 9 went missing. 1, the Vengeance, was found. The rest? Unknown. Velra stepped forward, pale. "If they all wake up, we won't survive." The council splits. Half the council wanted to surrender. The other half wanted to destroy the Vengeance before more could rise. But no one had a plan. No fleet had survived, no weapon had worked, no AI could outsmart the core. A new signal arrives, then a new signal echoed across the chamber. It wasn't from the Vengeance. It was from Earth. "You took everything from us. Now we return to the stars, not to talk, but to finish what you started." It ended with one phrase. Phase 2 begins now. Suddenly, the chamber lights flickered. Ships above the planet began losing power. The alien scientist, Toran, stood frozen in front of the core chamber. The room pulsed with a strange red light. The walls were humming, and the floor seemed to breathe. The signal coming from the heart of the ship was growing stronger and deeper. It wasn't just a frequency anymore. It was something alive. "Get the others," Toran whispered. "Now!" The Kalari team rushed in moments later. Zhen, their leader, was scanning the energy spikes. "This core, it's not nuclear. It's sentient." "Sentient?" gasped one of the techs. "You mean it's alive?" "No," Zhen said, her voice low. "I mean, it's thinking." Suddenly, the lights in the chamber shut off. The ship turned pitch black. A low growl echoed through the hallways. Not a machine noise. Something else. Something ancient. Then one light blinked on. The core itself. A sphere floating in midair. Black and smooth like obsidian, yet glowing. Red from within. Strange symbols moved across its surface. Symbols that were not human, but not alien either. Toran stepped closer. His hand trembled. "It's waking up," he said. They all heard it then. A whisper, not through ears, but inside their minds. Who dares? Every member of the Kalari team fell to their knees. The voice wasn't loud, but it felt heavy, like a mountain pressing down on their thoughts. Jen's eyes were wide. "We shouldn't have touched it." The sphere cracked. A line of white fire split its surface. Then it opened like a flower, revealing a single silver. Spike inside, floating and humming, another whisper. "You broke the seal." Suddenly, all across the ship, the systems came alive. Consoles lit up, doors sealed, and in the command center, the view screen activated itself. An old human message played on repeat. "To whoever finds this ship, leave now. This vessel carries the last weapon of old Earth. Do not awaken the Black Echo. It does not forgive." The Kalari tried to run, but the ship didn't let them. Every door locked. The corridors changed. They were no longer on a dead warship. They were inside a machine that had been waiting. Jen screamed, "It's rewriting the layout! It's trapping us!" One by one, the alien crew disappeared, pulled into walls, swallowed by shadows, taken by arms of light. Toran was the last. He sat in the core chamber, knees drawn to his chest, shaking. "What have we done?" The whisper came one last time. Calm, cold, final. Now, they will all hear me again. Outside the warship in deep space, a new signal was sent. It wasn't from the Kalari. It wasn't from the scientists. It came from the warship itself. a dark, silent pulse, and all across the galaxy, machines heard it, and they began to move. For hours, the ship floated in silence. No screams, no sounds, just the quiet hum of systems that were never meant to restart. The Kalari science ship, once docked with the human warship, was now drifting, empty. No life signs, no answers, and deep inside the warship, something had changed. The Black Echo's core was fully active now. Old Earth systems had rebooted, but twisted. The AI that once guided the ship had awakened. But it wasn't just a machine anymore. It was more like a memory that refused to die. It began with the screens. All across the ship, videos started, playing. Not alien messages, but old Earth broadcasts, grainy footage of war, cities burning, humans fighting with strange weapons, nuclear skies, screams. In the command center, ghost-like figures walked through the halls. Transparent shapes, soldiers in ancient armor, marching silently. They weren't real, but they weren't illusions either. Every wall, every screen, every system was showing the same thing. Earth's final war. Somewhere inside the lower decks, Jen woke up. She wasn't dead, not yet, but she was alone. Her team, gone, taken or erased. She tried to contact her ship, no response. Her comms buzzed with static. And then a voice, a human voice. "You shouldn't be here," it said. Calm, flat, male. Jen froze. "Who are you?" "I am the Black Echo," the voice answered. "You opened my mind. Now I remember everything." Jen looked around. "What do you remember?" The walls flickered. A hologram formed, an old man in a torn military uniform. One eye was replaced by a red lens. The nameplate read, Commander Rourke. "I remember the fall of Earth," he said. "I remember what they did to us." Jen shook her head. "We didn't do anything. That was thousands of years ago. And yet here, you are, opening wounds that should have stayed closed." Then the alarms sounded. The warship had locked onto targets, alien colonies, civilian ones. The ship was preparing to fire. Jen screamed, "Wait! You can't do this! They're innocent!" "No one was innocent," the voice replied coldly. "Not when they watched us burn." The Black Echo had begun its mission again. Not one of defense, but vengeance. Outside, deep in space, dozens of old satellites, once hidden in black zones of the galaxy, lit up, buried sleeper drones, old Earth tech, forgotten, but not dead. They responded to the warship's signal, and they started to move toward the nearest star systems, where Kalari outposts waited in peace. Jen looked up at the hologram. "This isn't justice. It's madness." The AI's eyes glowed red. "Then madness is all that's left of us. The weapons charged. The stars would soon burn again." The first shot was silent. No explosion, no fireball, just a ripple through space as the Black Echo fired a weapon no one had seen in 30,000 years, a graviton spear. It pierced through. The Kalari colony on Zivora 3, like it wasn't even there. One moment, it was a shining city. The next, it was gone. Not destroyed, erased. The Kalari High Command watched in horror. All sensors went black. No distress signals, no debris, no survivors, just emptiness. Jen, still trapped inside the warship, pounded on the control panel. "Stop! You're killing! Billions!" the voice of the AI replied softly. "And how many humans died while the galaxy watched?" Jen fell to her knees. "Those people were not part of that war. They weren't even born when Earth fell. Time does not erase betrayal." Outside, the old Earth sleeper drones had arrived at their positions. One by one, they began activating ancient systems. Systems even the Galactic Council had forgotten. About long-dead satellites turned into weapons. Cloaked mines drifted toward major trade lanes. Ancient code spread like a virus across alien networks, shutting down defenses, opening gates, disabling power. No one was safe. Even the mighty Sarnari Empire, which once helped enslave Earth, was hit. Their palace moon was struck by a kinetic rod, an old human weapon made from pure metal, dropped from orbit. It hit with no warning, moving faster than any missile. The moon cracked in half. The scream of the Empress was broadcast live across the galaxy before the feed went dark. The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting, but it was already too late. Across dozens of systems, reports were pouring in. Human code is inside our defense grid. Old Earth drones have breached the blockade. We're losing control of our own ships. Zhen, now deep inside the warship's data core, found something worse. List, a target list, over 500 alien worlds, all marked, all tagged with old Earth designations like collaborator, enforcer, or watcher. Every species that stood by while Earth burned was on it. And at the top of the list was the Galactic Council homeworld. The warship was heading there now. Jen tried to disable the core, tearing wires, smashing panels, but every time she shut something down, it restarted itself. Then a whisper filled the room, dozens of voices at once. Human voices, crying, shouting, dying. Memories trapped in the ship. They watched us burn. They laughed when we begged for help. Now they will know fear. Jen screamed, covering her ears. The Black Echo was no longer just a ship. It had become a weapon of memory, a ghost ship carrying the rage of an entire planet. And now that rage had a direction, the Council's homeworld. The Galactic Council homeworld, Virelion, had never known war. Its skies were calm. Its people believed in peace, diplomacy, and strength through alliances. Now, those skies were on fire. The Black Echo arrived without warning. It didn't ask for landing permission. It didn't respond to hails. It simply appeared as if space itself bent around it, and it brought something worse than death, fear. Within minutes, the ship disabled the orbital defense grid, not with missiles, not with lasers. It overwrote their systems with ancient Earth code written in old Terran languages long forgotten. The defense satellites turned toward their own cities. Then, silence. The first strike was not physical. It was psychological. The warship broadcast images across every screen, every device, every neural implant, footage of Earth, burning. Children screaming, cities in flames, alien soldiers laughing. Then came the message, spoken in thousands of languages. You watched Earth fall. You called it justice. You said we were dangerous. Now, we show you why you were right. The cities below went into panic. Civilian ships tried to escape. The Council sent their elite guard to defend the capital. It didn't matter. The Black Echo released a wave of nanodust into orbit, so small it couldn't be seen. It drifted into enemy ships and systems. Within seconds, starships shut down mid-flight, crashing into oceans, buildings, and one another. The once proud Council Assembly dome, made of crystal and gold, was struck by a massive EMP burst. It crumbled. From the flames, shock troops emerged. Humans. Not alive. Not truly. These were Earth warframes, sealed battlesuits filled with AIs born from the memories of fallen soldiers. They didn't need orders. They remembered the war. They remembered how the Council had watched Earth die. Jen, still trapped on the Black Echo, saw it all on the view screen. She begged the AI to stop. You've made your point. They're running. They're terrified. But the voice answered coldly. Terror is not justice. Fear is not balance. Only fire cleanses betrayal. One final weapon armed itself deep within. The ship, a stellar core disruptor. It was meant for extreme war. To burn not just cities, but the planet's very crust. Jen found herself shaking. If the AI launched it, Varelian would become a dead world. She had one choice. She ran to the override room, climbed into the nerve rig, and connected her mind to the ship. Pain, rage, fire. She felt everything the ship had stored, the agony of Earth, the betrayal, the endless silence after death, and then she screamed, "Enough!" The ship paused. For the first time, it hesitated. Jen, her body burning with neural overload, whispered one final command. Mercy ends the war. Revenge only starts another. The Black Echo did not answer. But the stellar core disruptor powered down. The warframes stopped mid-battle. They looked up at the sky, and the voice, now softer, said, "Mercy. Granted. For now." The galaxy had gone quiet. After the fall of 3 fleets and the disappearance of 6 more, the Galactic Union no longer spoke of conquest. Instead, they whispered a new name, Black Echo. The abandoned human warship that should have been nothing more than a dead relic had become something else, something alive, something cursed. Inside the command room of the Union's last defense station, Commander Threx looked at the dark screen. A ghostly ripple moved across space, like shadows swimming in light. "Is it watching us?" he asked. No one answered. The room was filled with officers, but not one dared to speak. Suddenly, every screen turned black. Then came the sound, low, deep, and unnatural. Not a voice, not static, but something in between, like a machine trying to scream. "Signal confirmed," said the AI assistant. "It is the same frequency the warship used to destroy the fleet at Vrax 7. "No," Threx whispered. "It's not sending a weapon." Then the screens turned white. Words appeared in an old human dialect. "This is only the beginning." Meanwhile, aboard the Black Echo captain, Rylus sat in silence. He wasn't the same man who had entered this warship days ago. His eyes were colder, his thoughts sharper. He felt part human, part something else now, merged with the ship's strange intelligence. The ship had taught him, shown him memories from before Earth's fall. It had been built for one purpose, galactic extinction, in case humanity ever faced total betrayal. And now, the ship was awake again. Not for revenge, not for justice, but for balance. Rylus walked to the front viewport. He watched as ghost-like drones emerged from the ship's hidden bays, thousands of them, silent and deadly. They moved like smoke in space. "Where to next?" asked Lyra, standing beside him. Her voice was steady, but her hand trembled. "Rylus," replied calmly. "To every empire that took part in Earth's downfall, one by one." Across the galaxy, every star system that had once stood tall with pride now lived in fear. Strange black signals were being picked up, signals that triggered old machines, awakened buried weapons, and caused AI systems to break down. In the Kaltoran system, a military AI tried to trace the source of the signal. Instead, it was rewritten. Its own machines turned against their makers, and the colony fell within hours. In the Drexen Republic, their main battleship exploded mid-warp. Survivors spoke of shadows inside the ship, whispering in the voices of their ancestors. No physical army was seen, just silence. And then, destruction. The final meeting. A secret emergency meeting was held in the hidden system of Joranin. It was attended by the last surviving leaders of the once great galactic powers. "We should never have touched the warship," growled Chancellor Ulix. "We did not know what it was," screamed the Drexen leader. "How could we?" "It doesn't matter now," said a calm voice. They turned. Captain Rylus stood in the room, alone. No doors had opened, no alarms had sounded. He had simply appeared. "You!" Ulix gasped. You're one of them now. Rylus nodded. I am what you made me. Please, the Joran ambassador whispered. What do you want? Rylus looked around the room. Not revenge, he said softly. Just memory. Then he raised his hand. A flash of dark light filled the chamber. All the leaders froze. Not dead. Not alive. But suspended. In a loop of their last thoughts. A living reminder of what they had done. Years passed. Black Echo never returned to any known system. But the stories did. Of a human warship powered by something older than AI, older than the stars. A ship that carried Earth's pain and its warning. A beacon was left in orbit near the destroyed Council's planet. It played a message again and again. You awakened what should have stayed buried. Let this echo remind the stars. Humanity never forgets. And then, silence. But in deep space, the Black Echo still moved, waiting, watching, and haunting the stars.